Yo, what's going on, everybody? Thank y'all for all my subscribers. I really appreciate y'all, number one. Number two, how is all of y'all doing? I know a lot of people don't ask y'all that question, because when you don't ask nobody for nothing or you looking all good and nothing's bothering you, nobody don't ask you how you doing. So I am asking you how you doing today. For me, every day I get up is a good day. And by the way, if you don't know who you're talking to or who's talking to you, it's your boy New York Tactical 33. Today I want to talk about triggers. Um, a lot of people want to get the 2 pound trigger, the 2.5 pound trigger, the light triggers. But you got to understand something. When you get these triggers, you have to train. You have to put a lot of work into these triggers. I mean, into your trigger pull, into your training and everything that you do when you have a firearm. And the reason why I'm talking about it because I made a video um, a couple of days ago. I've been working on my red dot. I've been trying to get familiar with the red dot, and you know I'm getting up there with it. But I have one firearm right now that I use for a red dot to train with, and that's my Walther PDP-F. I have the Holosun EPS carry green dot. One thing about this, the reason why I use the Walther, because they made the grip to the point of when you put your thumb down there, you get your dot more quicker. Um, so I'm learning. But the reason why I'm talking about triggers today, because if you look at my video, this trigger is so sweet and so light. It's more lighter than my Glock 45 and Gen 5 9mm. I changed my Glock performance trigger out because I heard that, when that trigger gets dirty, sometimes it sticks or whatever the case may be. I do clean my firearms every time I go to the range. So, it's just in the back of my head that I don't want that to happen because I do carry this firearm. And so I changed it back to, you know, the regular trigger. Still likes the trigger for duty, so that's what it is. So me talking to you about the triggers and having an ND is something that people need to talk about. People don't talk about that. Well, I'm talking about it today because this trigger is so sweet. I'm drawing from the holster, slow and nice and easy, whatever the case may be, getting the feel of the firearm and the trigger, trying to, align my dot, trying to see my dot every time I draw my firearm. Um, but if you look inside, if you're looking at the video, you see once I draw up like this and I raise it like that, the trigger, I pinned the trigger to the wall, but it is so, I'm not going to say real light, but it's light to the fact of it went off. Lucky thing, I was already, had the firearm down range. It scared me a little bit. One thing about me with my videos, I keep it real. I don't do no editing or nothing like that. So whatever you see, you see. We all learn as we going along. So I just wanted to talk about triggers today and, you know, how not to catch an ND. And an ND is crazy because I just was watching a video the other day about a man who works at the gun store but is an older man on the side, and he's loaded his firearm, this, that, and third, whatever the case he was doing over there, and the firearm went off. So everybody jumped, and the man that was working there, he pulled out his firearm real quick and looked around the wall, and he see that the old man just was shocked, like he didn't know what to do, whatever the case may be. Number one, the most important safety is your trigger finger. These firearms don't go off if your trigger is not, if your finger is not on the trigger. And I know all of y'all gonna say it. I know y'all gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. Yeah, SIG. I know. 320s. I know. I understand. But that's the most important safety is your finger. So I just wanted to talk about, you know what I mean? You know, not to get your trigger too light, because, you know, if you don't train with these firearms, you know, the best thing to do is not get it light. Um, this firearm right here is built for, um, you know, self-defense. And tell you the truth, if anything happened, you're not worried about how heavy your trigger is. You know, that adrenaline is gonna start going, and you just gonna just, you know, start letting off, you know, when you have to. So you have to train. You have to train. So you already know Glock Performance trigger is kind of heavy, but you can work with it. You can work with any trigger just as long as you train, tell you the truth. That's the reason why I'm making this video, because I don't want nobody out there that's just starting, that nobody never told them to, you know, train with your firearm and, you know, train with that trigger press. You know, you have firearms that's out there that's light. You know, you got the Prime. You know, they got some good triggers that's light. You know, if you looking at getting a 2011 or 1911, those triggers is light. You have other, you know, striker firearms out there that has light triggers. So before you get into a light trigger that's like 3 or 2.5 pounds, you need to work with on a firearm that has a trigger that's like 4 pounds. You know what I mean? Somewhere around there. But like I said, whatever you do, train with your firearm. Train, train, train. That's one of the things that, you know, I represent working and making these videos is about training. And I do train, but right now I'm just on the road to, you know, trying to work with, you know, the red dots, because my eyes is getting a little, you know, bad. I'm at the age where, you know, I got to squinch, you know, stuff like that. So now I'm trying to, you know, work with the red dot. It is kind of funny because I'm so used to shooting iron sights, and, you know, that's the way it was. But I still think that anything that happened will be close up, so you might not have to use the red dot. Um, but, you know, things happen. Like I said, things happen. So, you know, I'm training with the red dot, but I still, you know, working with my iron sights. So I do have firearms that just have iron sights, because I still feel good with my iron sights until I get good with the red dot. Then I really start carrying it. But other than that, I'm good with the iron sights. That's just my train of thoughts. That's just how I feel. You know, that's just what it is. So before you catch an ND, you know, train, train, and, you know, most important thing with a firearm and most safety with a firearm is your trigger finger. Other than that, like I said, I just want to get on here and make a little short video about, you know, training with your firearm and not catching the ND, and, you know, working with your trigger. And if you new, don't go out there just because you hear people saying, you know, I got a 2.5 pound trigger, this, that, and the third. The trigger is light. It's always good to get a light trigger. You can get quicker shots down range. Everybody is not that good. So before you do that, watch this video and you'll understand what I'm saying. But other than that, I know I should have said it first, But as y'all can see, YouTube, there's nothing in the firearm. I got it open. No magazines, nothing in the firearm. See, nothing in the firearm. You know, so that's why I got it open, YouTube. Monetize my video. But like I said, this is the Walther PDP F. And this is the Glock 45 and Gen 5. I know you like that color. Color's sweet. You know, it's basic. There's nothing too much on it. You know, night sights. You know, magwell. You know, regular trigger. I did my own. You know, undercut, double undercut under it. You know, put my own little work on it. You know, got a Cerakote on it. That's the way I got my firearms. But this one, I'm gonna keep it like it is until I keep on training with the red dot. So, like I always say, love is love. Stay focused. It's your boy New York Tactical. I'm out.